आज हम लोग 7th क्लास का 3rd चैप्टर रीड करने वाले हैं और इसकी ऑडियो बुक आपको मेरे चैनल पे मिल जाएगी। इससे पहले भी हमने 2 चैप्टर्स की ऑडियो बुक्स बना रखी है, तो आप चाहे तो जा करके प्लेलिस्ट में चेक कर सकते हैं। तो आज हम लोग स्टार्ट करने वाले हैं चैप्टर 3, दैट इज़ हीट। You know that woolen clothes are made from animal fiber. You also know that cotton clothes are made from plant fiber. We wear woolen clothes during winter when it is cold outside. Woolen clothes keep us warm. We prefer to wear light colored cotton cloth when it is hot. These gives us a feeling of coolness. You might have wondered why particular types of clothes are suitable for a particular season. In winter, you feel cold inside the house. If you come out in the sun, you feel warm. In summer, you feel hot even inside the house. How do we know whether an object is hot or cold? How do we find out how hot or cold an object is? In this chapter, we shall try to seek answer to some of these questions. Hot and cold. In our day-to-day life, we came across a number of objects. Some of them are cold. Tea is hot and ice is cold. List some objects you use commonly. Mark these objects as hot and cold. Do not touch objects which are too hot. Be careful while handling a candle flame or a stove. We see that some objects are cold while some are hot. You also know that some objects are hotter than others while some are colder than others. How do we decide that which object is hotter than the other object? We often do it by touching the object, but is our sense of touch reliable? Let's find out. Activity 3.1. Take 3 small tubs and container, label them A, B and C. Put cold water in container A and hot water in container B. Make sure that water is not so hot that you burn your hand. Mix some cold and hot water in a container C. Now dip your left hand in container A and the right hand in container B. After keeping the hands in two containers for 2 to 3 minutes, put both the hands simultaneously in container C. Do you both the hands get the same feeling? Bujo confusion shows that we cannot always rely on our sense of touch to decide whether an object is hot or cold. Sometimes it may deceive us. Then, how do we find out how hot an object really is? A reliable measure of the hotness of an object is temperature. Temperature is measured by a device called thermometer. Measuring temperature. Have you seen a thermometer? Recall that when you or someone else in your family had fever, the temperature was measured by a thermometer. The thermometer that measures our body temperature is called clinical thermometer. Hold the thermometer in your hand and examine it carefully. If you do not have a thermometer, request a friend to share it with you. A clinical thermometer looks like the one shown in figure 3.2. A clinical thermometer consists of a long, narrow, uniform glass tube. It has a bulb at one end. This bulb contains mercury. Outside the bulb, a small shining thread of a mercury can be seen. If you do not see the mercury threads, rotate the thermometer a bit till you see it. You will also find a scale on the thermometer. The scale we use is the Celsius scale indicated by degrees Celsius. A clinical thermometer reads temperature from 35 degrees to 42 degrees Celsius. Activity 3.2. Reading a thermometer. Let us learn how to read a thermometer. First, note the temperature difference indicated between the two bigger masks. Also note down the number of divisions. Precaution to be observed while using a clinical thermometer. Thermometer should be washed before and after use, preferably with an antiseptic solution. Ensure that before use the mercury level is below 35 degrees Celsius. Read the thermometer, keeping the level of mercury along the line of sight. Handle the thermometer with care. If it hits against some hard object, it can break. Don't hold the thermometer by a bulb while reading it. Shown by small marks between these marks. Suppose the bigger mark read 1 degree and there are 5 divisions between them. Then one small division can read 1.5, that is 0.2 degrees Celsius. Wash the thermometer, preferably with an antiseptic solution. Hold it firmly and give it a firm jerk. The jerk will bring the level of mercury down. Ensure that it falls below 35 degrees Celsius. Now, place the bulb of the thermometer under your tongue. After 1 minute, take the thermometer out and note the reading. This is your body temperature. The temperature should always be stated with its unit degrees Celsius. What did you record as your body temperature? The normal temperature of human body is 37 degrees Celsius. Note that the temperature is stated with its unit. Let us try to assure Paheli that there is nothing wrong with her. Activity 3.3. Measure the body temperature of some of your friends, at least with a clinical thermometer. Record your observation as at table 3.2. Is the body temperature of every person is 37 degrees Celsius, the temperature of every person may not be 37 degrees Celsius. It could be slightly higher or slightly lower. Actually, what we call nominal temperature is the average body temperature of a large number of healthy person. The clinical thermometer is designed to measure the temperature of human body only. The temperature of human body normally does not go below 35 degrees Celsius or above 42 degrees Celsius. That is the reason that is this thermometer has a range of 35 degrees Celsius to 42 degrees Celsius. Caution: do not use a clinical thermometer for measuring the temperature of any object other than the human body. Also avoid keep the thermometer in the sun or near a flame. It may break. Laboratory thermometer. How do we measure the temperature of other object? For this purpose, there are other thermometers. One such thermometer is known as the laboratory thermometer. The teacher will show you. Different type of thermometers are used in different purpose. The maximum and minimum temperature of the previous day reported is weather reported as measured by the thermometer called the maximum minimum thermometer. This thermometer, look at it carefully and note the highest and the lowest temperature it can measure. The range of the laboratory thermometer is generally from minus 10 degrees Celsius to 110 degrees Celsius. Also, as you did the case of the clinical thermometer, find out the how much a small division on this thermometer reads. You would need this the information to read the thermometer correctly. Let us now learn how this thermometer is used. Activity 3.4. Take some small tab in a beaker or a mug. Dip the thermometer in water so that the bulb is immersed in water, but does not touch the bottom or the side of the container. Hold the thermometer vertically. Observe the movement of mercury in the thermometer. Wait till the mercury thread becomes steady. In addition to the precaution to be taken while reading a clinical thermometer, the laboratory thermometer should be kept upright, not tilted. Bulb should be surrounded from all sides by the substance of which temperature is to be measured. The bulb should not touch the surface of the container. Note the reading. This is the temperature of water at that time. Compare the temperature of the water recorded by each student in the class. Are there any variation in the reading? Discuss the possible reason. Let us try to answer these questions. Activity 3.5. Take some hot water in a beaker or a mug. Dip the thermometer in water. Wait till the mercury thread becomes steady and know the temperature. Now take out the thermometer from water. Observe carefully what happened now. Do you notice that as soon as you take the thermometer out of water, the level of mercury begins to fall? This means that the temperature must be read. While the temperature is in water, you may recall that while taking your own temperature, you have to take the thermometer out of your mouth to note the reading. Can you then use the laboratory thermometer to measure your temperature? Obviously, it is not convenient to use the laboratory thermometer for this purpose. Why does the mercury not fall or rise in a clinical thermometer when taken out of the mouth? Observe the clinical thermometer again. Do you see a kink near the bulb? What is the use of the kink? It prevents mercury level from falling on its own. There is a lot of concern over the use of mercury in thermometer. Mercury is a toxic substance and is very difficult to dispose of it if our thermometer breaks. These days, digital thermometers are available which do not use mercury transfer or heat. You might have observed that a frying pan become hot when kept on the flame. It is because the heat passes from the flame to the utensils. When the pan is removed from the fire, it slowly cools down. Why does it cool down? The heat is transferred from the pan to the surrounding. So, you can understand that in both cases, the heat flow from a hotter object to a colder object. In fact, in all cases, heat flow from hotter object to a colder object. How does heat flow? Let us investigate. Activity 3.6. Take a rod or a flat strip of metal, say of aluminium or iron. Fix a small wax pieces on the rod. These pieces should be at nearly equal distance. Clamp the rod or to understand. If you do not find a stand, you can put one end of the rod in between bricks. Now, heat the other end of the rod and observe what happened to the wax pieces. Do these pieces begins to fall? Which pieces fall the first? Do you think that heat is transferred from the end nearest to the flame to the other end? The process by which heat is transferred from the hotter end to the colder end of an object is known as conduction. In solid, generally the heat is transferred by the process of conduction. To all subjects conduct heat easily, you must observe that the metallic pan from cooking has a plastic or wooden handle. Can you lift a hotter pan by holding it from the handle without getting hurt? Activity 3.7. Heat water in a small pan or a beaker. Collect some articles such as a steel, spoon, plastic scale pencil and a divider. Dip one end of each of these articles in hot water. Wait for a few minutes. Touch the other end. Enter your observation in table 3.3. The material which allow the heat to pass through them easily are conductor of heat. For example, aluminium, iron and copper. The material which do not allow heat to pass through them easily are poor conductor of heat such as plastic and wood. Poor conductor are known as insulator. The water and air are poor conductor of heat. Then how does the heat transfer from take places in these substances? Let's find out. Activity 3.8. Take a round bottom flask. If flask is not available, a beaker can be used. Fill it two-thirds with the water. Place it on a tripod or make some arrangement to place the flask in such a way that you can heat it by placing a candle below it. Wait till the water in a flask is still. Place a crystal of potassium permanganate at the bottom of the flask, using a straw. Now, heat the water by placing the candle just below the crystal. Write your observation in your notebook and also draw a picture when what you observe. When water is heated, the water near the flame gets hot. Hot water rise up. The cold water from the side move down towards the source of heat. This water also get hot and rise, and water from the sides move down. This process continues till the whole water gets heated. This mode of heating transfer is known as convection. How do the heat travel in air? In which direction the smokes go? The air near the heat source get hot and rise. Then air from the side come in to take its place. In this way, the air get heated. The following activity confirm this idea. Activity 3.9. Light a candle. Keep one hand above the flame and one hand on the other side of the flame. Do you handle feel? Do your hands feel equally hot? If you not, which hand feel hotter and why? Be careful, keep your hand at safe distance from the flame so that they do not get burned. Notice that towards the top, the air get heated by convection. Therefore, the hand above the flame feel hot. On the side, however, there is no convection and air does not feel as hot as the top. The people living in a coastal areas experience an interesting phenomena. During the day, the land get heated faster than the water. The air over the land become hotter and rise up. The cooler air from the sun rushes in towards the land to take its place. The warmer air from the land move towards the sea to complete the cycle. The air from the sea is called sea breeze. To receive the cooler sea breeze, the windows of the house in coastal areas are made to face the sea. At night it is exactly the reverse. The water cool down more slowly than the land. So the air from the land move towards the sea, and this is called land breeze. When we comes out in sun, we feel warm. How does the heat from the sun reaches us? It cannot reach us by conduction or convection, as there is no medium such as air in most of the part of the space between earth and the sun. From the sun, the heat comes to us by another process known as radiation. Transfer of heat radiation does not require any medium. It can place whether a medium is present is not or not. When we sit in front of a room heater, we get heat by this process. A hot utensil kept away from the flame cools down as it transfers heat to the surrounding by radiation. Our body too gives heat to the surroundings and receive heat from it by radiation. All hot body radiate heat. When this heat falls on some object, a part of it reflected, a part is observed, and a part may be transmitted. The temperature of the object increase due to the observed part of the heat. Why are you advised to use an umbrella when you go out in the sun? Kinds of clothes we wear in summer and winter. We know that in summer we prefer light colored clothes and in winter we usually wear dark colored clothes. Why it is so? Let us find out. Activity 3.10. Take two identical tin cans, paint the outer surface of one black and other white. Pour equal amount of water in each and leave them in the midday sun for about an hour. Measure the temperature of water in the both the can. Do you find any difference in the temperature in? We often use electricity and fuel like coal and wood to keep our house cool or warm. It is possible to construct buildings that are not affected much by heat and cold outside. This can be done by constructing outer wall of buildings so that they have trapped layer of air. One of doing this is to use a hollow bricks, which is available these days. Which can is the water warmer. You can feel the difference even by touching water in two cans. Activity 3.11. Fill the two cans used in activity 3.10 with the same amount of hot water at the same temperature, say at 60 degrees Celsius. Leave the can in a room or in a shade. Note the temperature of the water after 10 to 15 minutes. Does the temperature of the water in both the cans fall by the same amount? Do these activities suggest to you the reason why it is more comfortable to wear white or light colored clothes in summer and dark colored clothes in the winter? Dark surface absorb more heat and therefore we feel uncomfortable with the dark colored cloth in the winter. Light colored clothes reflect the most of the heat that falls on them and therefore we feel more comfortable wear them in the summer. Woolen clothes keep us warm in winter. In winter, we use woolen cloth. Wool is a poor conductor of heat. Moreover, there is a air trapped in between the wool fiber. This air prevents the flow of heat from our body to the cold surroundings. So we feel warmer. Suppose you are given the choice in the winter of using either one thick blanket or two thin blankets joined together. What would you choose and why? Remember that there would be a layer of air in between the blanket. Now we come to the summary of the chapter. Our sense of touch is not always a reliable guide to the degree of the hotness of an object. Temperature is the measure of the degree of hotness of an object. Thermometer is a device used for measuring temperature. Clinical thermometer is used to measure our body temperature. The range of this thermometer is from 35 degrees Celsius to 42 degrees Celsius. For the other purpose, we use the laboratory thermometer. The range of this thermometer is usually from minus 10 degree to 110 degree. The normal temperature of human body is 37 degrees Celsius. The heat flow from a body at a higher temperature to a body at a lower temperature. There are three ways in which heat can flow from one object to another. These are conduction, convection, and radiation. In solid, generally the heat is transferred by conduction. In liquid and gases, the heat is transferred by convection. No medium is required for transfer of heat by radiation. The material which allow heat to pass through them easily are conductor of heat. The material which do not heat to pass through them easily are called insulator. Dark object observes more heat than the light colored object. This is the reason we feel more comfortable in light colored clothes in the summer. Woolen clothes keep us warm during winter. It is so because wool is poor conductor of heat and it has air trapped in between the fibers. That's all for this chapter.